to Peace Kitchen again. Today I'm going to introduce how to bake a cake using our ancient method. I did this when I was very young those days in the 60s when there was no oven at all. Here it goes. This is the bowl, a wooden spoon. Okay, bowl and a fork. I've got 2 cups here. No measuring scale, I use cups. I have some mentega, planta, butter. I do not use butter because those days we didn't have butter. I'm using all those days product. And some custard sugar, vanilla essence, baking soda, a baking tray with the tracing paper line, all-purpose flour. I have a tongue. I have a small stick with me, and there are 2 eggs here. I've dried some sand here from beach sand. I bought it from the hardware shop. I have an old quali here, black quali filled with dried sand. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to put this quali charcoal pot stand where I'm burning the charcoal here, whereby the quali will be placed here. I'm not going to use an oven to bake it. I'm going to use the old method, whereby we didn't have electricity and we didn't have oven those days. Okay, this is how we preheat the oven. The sand will be heated up above the quali. We have seen the soil is being left here to get heated. And what I'm going to do after that is, my tray will be on top of the sand, and I'm going to put another tray on top of it with some charcoal on it. So that's how I'm going to do my baking. Okay, see you. Alright, now I'm going to start with the preparation for the cake. What I'm going to do now is, I'm going to take a cup. My measurement is like this. 4 ounces of flour or butter or sugar is equivalent to 1 cup. Right, this is the cup which I'm going to use for my measurement. Normally I use a cup because 1 tablespoon or 4 tablespoons of flour or butter is equivalent to 1 cup. That's how we measure those days in my family when I used to bake. So I'm going to show you how I do. 1 cup, 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons, 4 tablespoons. Can you see that? Good. So this is 1 cup of planta or margarine, whichever brand, but I'm not going to use butter here. Okay, I'll put it into the mixing bowl. I'm going to have 1 cup of custard custard sugar. Add to it. As I've said, this cake, 1 cup is equivalent to 4 tablespoons. So the measurement of the sugar, the planta or the mentega, and the flour must be the same amount. Okay. And what I'm going to do is, I'm going to beat it up. This is the olden way of beating up the sugar and butter. But I'm using ordinary planta, I'm not using butter here. So I have to beat it up until it is fluffy. See, the batter has been mixed well. with the sugar and the butter. Now I'll show you how it goes with the egg. Okay, 2 eggs. Add in a bit of vanilla essence. This is to remove the smell of the egg. And you can see that, those days we didn't even use a whisk. We were staying in small rural areas. So we use only a fork to whisk the egg. This is how we whisk the egg. This is the beaten batter. And this is the beaten egg. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pour the whole lot of the egg inside one shot. And we fold in the egg into the batter. Beat it slowly on a slow heat, and now that's it. What I'm going to do the next is add in the 1 cup of prepared flour. Fold in the flour. In the meanwhile, I'm going to add in some baking soda. 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Keep folding in. Just fold in the flour, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit more of vanilla essence. And if you think that your texture is a bit soft, you want to add in a bit of flour, but if you think it is too hard, then you can add in a little bit of milk, slightly, a little bit. But here my texture is just fine, so I need not have to add in milk at all. Okay, you can always add in a little bit of milk if you want to. Okay. And smoothen the texture. Okay, you can see the flour is all very well done, the cake flour. Okay, I'm going to pour it into the tray now. The tray has been prepared with a tracing paper. I greased the tracing paper already so that it's easy to remove the cake later. And I'm going to pour the whole mixture into I'm pouring it into the greased tray. Okay, it's done now. This is the flame that I have already prepared for my baking. So now I'm going to take a bit of the charcoal for the top part, because I have to put fire on top and bottom. On this side. I'm going to place the pot here and the sand, wet sand. Okay, the sand has been preheated. I'm going to place the cake tray on top of the sand, and on top of the tray I'm going to place this charcoal on top. So you can see on top and down, bottom we have the flame, and I'm going to add on some more charcoal so that there is enough. for the top and bottom. So it takes about almost 45 minutes to 1 hour, depends on your stove, to bake. Okay. We'll wait for the cake to bake. Okay. You can see I've removed some of the charcoal from the top because I know it is quite a lot, so it depends. You can always open and see in between if you want to. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in the middle to see whether the cake is baked. Yes, it's cooked beautifully. So I'm going to remove the tray from the sand. I'm going to remove it now. Okay, dust a little bit because you might have the sand there. So you can see this is the cake that I brought it out from the stove just now. It's still hot, so give a little bit of time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop up the sides so that we can remove it later and overturn it. You can see that's a little bit of burn, slight burning. This is due to the flame. There was a high flame over here. So if your flame is correct, even you will not find this burnt area. It's a beautiful plain butter cake. Can you see the cake? You see, it has cooked very well. I will turn it around for you. Beautifully cooked. I'm going to remove this from this tray. I'm going to turn it, overturn it now. You can see. Okay. Ready? Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove this thin layer of tracing paper that I used earlier. This paper. I'm going to turn this cake over on a plate. It's the same cake. And what I'm going to do now is the little burnt one, I can just take it off slowly. Just a little bit. It's not much. And this cake is super. It gives you a better taste than your normal oven baked cake. Okay, I'm going to cut the cake now. This is only with 1 cup flour. If you do it with 2 cups flour, you can have a bit raised up. I just did it with 1 cup. This is a cut cake. So this is the cake that just now has been baked. You can see it's a very well cooked. It's a very small amount. I only used 1 cup. If you want to have a bigger size cake, you use 2 cups flour with 4 eggs. Today I only baked with 1 cup flour, 1 cup butter, 1 cup sugar and 2 eggs only. And the tips that I'm going to let you know about this cooking in the charcoal is it tastes very nice. You see, the smell is very simple. I didn't give any flavoring, nothing. Just only the vanilla essence. And it smells so good and delicious when you eat it after that. It's very nice. It's beautiful. And you can do it as a family activity, especially now during this lockdown period. Your children will be bored and many of them will be looking for activities. So this can be a family activity during your lockdown period with your children. So enjoy yourself. Please don't forget to try this. There are small little tips that you have to consider while doing this on the stove. Make sure your soil that you get, that sand that you get, is clean sand. Preferably you wash it and dry it in the sun before using it. And secondly, you also make sure that the top cover for the charcoal is a bit thicker. And the other thing is that do not open unnecessarily the cover on top to see the cake. It will sink in, okay, while it's baking. You only open after about 20 minutes or so, just for once, to see what level it is. And if you find that the cake is rising too high, you quickly remove some of the flames. Bye. Go in peace.